Hello and welcome to Tweaktown Live. I'm Chris Ramseyer, Tweaktown's Consumer Storage Product Editor.
Hi, and I'm Paul Alcorn. I'm the Enterprise Storage Editor here at Tweaktown. One thing that we're here to discuss today is the difference between consumer and enterprise class SSDs. You know, Chris is seeing it a lot on his side, and I'm seeing it a lot as well. Large purchases of consumer class SSDs headed to data centers. The administrators are deciding to deploy these SSDs into these heavy workload environments, utilizing what we refer to as the rip and replace model.
Since consumer SSDs cost less than their enterprise counterparts, these companies are just choosing to use the shorter lifespan SSD and simply replace the drives more often. This is because enterprise SSDs are just simply overpriced.
Well, no, they're not overpriced, because when you're using client SSDs in these workloads, you're not getting the performance. There's a big trade-off.
Performance. This is the Samsung 840 Pro. This has 100,000 IOPS. This is the fastest consumer SSD on the market today.
But you have to understand, that product specification is designed for a desktop environment under light loadings with tons of idle time. This drive is designed internally to operate in that type of an environment.
Okay, well then, how about this? This is the OCZ Vector. It also has nearly 100,000 IOPS and is right there with Samsung for the fastest SSD on the market.
Well, yes, and they are both impressive SSDs when you use them in their intended workloads and intended environments. But something like the Smart Optimus is designed for what can best be described as a torturous environment at best.
Torturous? What do you mean? It's an SSD. It's not like it's being waterboarded.
Well, no, it's not being waterboarded, but while you're playing Battlefield 3 in your nice air-conditioned room in your chair in front of your computer, blasting away, this SSD is in a real data war zone. It's buried somewhere deep inside of a data center. These typically average around 15 football fields in size. They're huge. They run in high heat envelopes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 100% load. The endurance...
Blah, 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 blah. You know what? These are the fastest consumer SSDs on the market, and I think these are faster than your enterprise drive.
I've got a challenge. I say, let's put it to the test. Let's see, right here, with two identical systems, which one can handle extended performance.
Let's do it. Hey, welcome back. We have our two SSDs installed in similar systems, and we're getting ready to start this test. Paul, why don't you actually tell us a little about the test?
Well, it's important that we test using SNIA methodology, so we began by filling the capacity of these drives twice with 128K sequential data. That gives us both a uniform starting point for our test. Now what we're going to do is we are going to write a 4K random write workload at a queue depth of 128 for a few hours. And we're going to see who really comes out on top. Is this Samsung 840 over here with its 100,000 IOPS? Or what about the Smart Optimus? And let's see what sustained performance really is.
Well, I already know where this is going to go. So let's just get right down to it.
Let's do it on 3,
2,
1,
go. Oh, look. There's my 90,000 IOPS. What do you have?
Well, right now, it looks like you have 90,400 some odd IOPS, and we're chugging along at 34,000 IOPS with the Smart Optimus. But the real test, Chris, is going to be to see what happens over the course of the next hour.
Yeah, we'll see, because my 90,000 IOPS looks like it's holding strong, so we'll see if you can make up the difference.
Alrighty. Time will tell. Welcome back, guys. It is now an hour and a half later, Chris. And tell me, give me your thoughts on this. What's going on with this drive over here?
I don't even want to comment because my grand champion Samsung 840 Pro is not the grand champion.
I think it just dropped down below 8,000 IOPS there.
Oh my gosh, it was just 5,700.
Well, what's happening is we can see here is with this speed dial is a lot of variability. Because this SSD, we're not saying anything bad about the Samsung 840. I mean, the 840 Pro is an excellent SSD in consumer environment. But in an enterprise environment, you're getting a wide variation of performance, which if you read further into the article that this video is part of, you're going to see much more detail on just how much variability you get from these types of SSDs under heavy workloads. As we can see, the Smart Optimus is steady as a rock. I mean, it's 32, 31 maybe. You're getting less than 2,000 IOPS swing. When applications wait on input-output operations, you can have an entire program waiting on one command. So when you have variable performance like this and you have one IOP that takes significantly longer, it does not matter what the other 99% of IOPS are doing. It's that one IOP that's going to kill you. This is where you need this type of performance consistency for true sustained, excellent performance in applications, especially in the data center.
Well, Paul, you and I, we both run RAID at home, just ridiculous RAID environments.
Absolutely.
And your drive in RAID is going to perform significantly better, even more than what's here on a single drive.
Absolutely.
Because here, like in my RAID, where I've got 8 drives, I'm waiting on
the slowest I/O every single time.
And my I/Os are really pretty slow.
Yes. So if you have these low outliers, as we call them, these low latencies, the entire speed of the entire RAID array falls to the speed of the slowest I/O. If you have 8 drives, the amount of slow I/Os that you're getting, this bouncing, is times 8. So you're really losing all of your performance. As we can see, this is just not moving. In RAID, this is a spectacular. Now we're talking about price, and a lot of time enterprise SSDs can command twice or even more money. When it comes to endurance, the Samsung 840 can't even begin to compete with the Smart Optimus. The Smart Optimus has 40,000 PE cycles. Its ratings are ridiculous. It has a 5-year warranty that guarantees you a tremendous amount of endurance. It has power fail protection, to where if you lose power, it's going to write all data in that SSD down to the NAND regardless. Samsung 840 doesn't have that. It's a consumer SSD. It's not going to have these features. So there's other features that make it a more attractive solution if we're not even looking at performance. But when we look at performance, you're looking at, on average, what, 2 to 3 times more performance over the course of our test.
But see, also, we should point out that this drive is out of its environment.
Absolutely. Right? It's not fair to the Samsung 840.
It's like taking a go-kart, to the swamp to use it as a boat.
Absolutely.
This drive on the consumer side has lots of idle time. When it has idle time, it can build up performance again by its internal garbage collection schemes. It has trim. Trim is really not used in the enterprise because you've got massive RAID arrays. So you can get good performance if you use it
where it needs
to be used.
Absolutely. I would never use an Optimus as a boot drive.
I would.
Would we? Well, we might, because that's what we do. But really belongs in the data center, and these drives belong in the consumer realm.
Yeah, I think that's right. Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks.
I'm Chris Ramseyer.
And I'm Paul Alcorn with Tweaktown. You guys have a good day.